Welcome back to the Medical Podcast. As you may have noticed, we have been absent for a while. The reason for that is simple. We were busy with our exams, and more importantly, we had discussions about who we are, what we want to do, and ultimately what the goal of this podcast is. To know more about that, please check out our new introductory video. For this episode, our guest today is Agathonikou, who is also a fifth-year medical student at our university and who also happens to be a cancer survivor, Non-Hodgkin Lymphoma to be precise. We will be discussing her treatment and near-death experience, how it feels to be labeled as a cancer survivor, and how it has helped her embrace herself and her condition. Stay until the end to hear what she has to say for those who might be going through the same process. Just some quick background information. Non-Hodgkin lymphoma is essentially cancer of the white blood cells, the type of blood cells that help you fight against infections. It affects mostly elderly people. However, Georgia had it when she was just a kid. The most characteristic symptom of the disease is swollen mass in your neck, armpits, or groin. Along with that, you could also experience weight loss, fatigue, chest pain, fever, etc. The treatment could range from radio and chemotherapy to stem cell transplant, depending on the stage of the lymphoma you have, with a survival rate of 90% in children and 65% in general after 5-year post-treatment. These numbers are from the UK Cancer Association. Apart from the obvious risk factors such as age and family history, there are a few other risk factors such as chemical or radiation exposure and viral infections, most notably HIV and the Epstein-Barr virus. Interestingly, there has actually been increasing evidence to support that breast implants are actually associated with NHL. All the links for what I just said will be in the description and in the reference section on the episode summary of our website.
Georgia, thank you for agreeing to be here. Let's get into it, starting with the first question. In your own words, who are you and what do you do?
My name is Georgia. I am 23 years old. I hope I don't look like that. I'm a medical student. I'm in the 5th year. I am living in Thessaloniki. I grew up here. I grew up in a suburb outside of the city, where it's, let's say, super quiet, but I like it. But my future plan is like to go to Athens and live my life there. Yes, like I grew up in Thessaloniki and I think I'm kind of bored. Like I'm 23 years here. So.
That's a bit weird for me because I've been to Athens many times and I don't like it at all.
Everyone keeps saying that about Athens. I quite like it.
And I can't imagine somebody who lives in Thessaloniki and wants to move to Athens. That's the first ever time I've heard it.
I love Athens. I was there before 1 week, and I don't know. I think the people that they don't like Athens is the people that because they didn't visit the correct places. There are small neighborhoods with small, say, restaurants and bars that everyone is like a company. So I really like it. One thing that I don't like about Athens is that when you are going, for example, into metro, without even you're on a hurry, you're getting anxious, and then you are on hurry.
I have a question regarding the viewers that are going to watch this episode. Who would you say would listen to this talk? Why should they listen, and what value would they gain from it?
I think that everyone should listen this podcast because we should be aware of the main issue. I think also the people that are going to have what we are going to talk about, or not going to have, but are having it, let's say, and their parents and their, let's say, relatives, it should be very helpful for them. And also the people that they are on our age and have a lot of free time, let's say. Yes, and these people too.
Can you describe quickly what it feels like to have such a disease at such age. I mean, like, for example, how was the treatment like, and how did you feel throughout the whole process?
Let's begin with the disease. I think it's better. I had cancer. I had Non-Hodgkin lymphoma when I was 14. And in the beginning, it was terrifying. Like, I remember my mom saying to me, like, Georgia, you have a mass on your throat, so you have to go to take a shower, and we are going to the hospital. And the only time that I cried, it was during the shower that I had, because I didn't know what a mass is. I didn't know. But then I went to the hospital. I spoke with the psychologist. I spoke with the doctors. So it was more calming, let's say. It definitely changed you, this type of experience. It changed your personality. It changed the way that you see life and the way that you see people.
For example?
With what way?
Let's say, how do you see life?
It depends on the time. Sometimes you forgot things because we are human. So, let's say Georgia forgot that she had cancer, so she is getting pissed of things that don't matter. It's normal. But the majority of times, I'm not getting anxious. Let's say, I'm gonna do it. I don't have something to lose. So I am trying to catch the opportunities that I'm having in life. And I think I'm seeing it with a very positive way as a person.
Yeah, actually very positive, to be honest.
Fine. How were you able to convince yourself at the time that things would be fine, or if you even felt that things would be fine, especially when they seemed so far off? And especially now that you're a fifth-year medical student, how can you compare it where you feel okay now to back then?
I think when someone is having something like that, there are two options. Even to see it with a very bad way and getting drawn, let's say, mentally, or even say, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna be a winner, I'm gonna be a survivor, and I'm gonna survive for it, and I'm gonna win cancer. So I saw it with that way, thanks God, and I think the majority of times that the people that they have cancer, they see it with that way. And we are speaking about the children's cancer. It's different from the adults' cancer. But I was adolescent, so it's a type of
between.
Yes. So I could understand at that time what was happening, but my parents helped me a lot because they were explaining everything, what I'm gonna have, that I'm gonna lose my hair, that I'm not going to school, etc., etc. So this thing helped me a lot to see the things that with more positive way, and at that point the matter in the beginning that I was more traumatized was the thing that I'm gonna lose my hair. I was kind of pretentious, let's say, when I was an adolescent, and for a girl in 14 years old to lose her hair, it's not something very easy, let's say.
That's terrible. My sister, just a side note, my sister now is 14 years old, and my mom, there was a time my mom just cut this much of her hair, and she got so angry.
Yes.
so angry. So I cannot imagine how it was like for you.
Yes, I was like all the time with the hair straightening when I was at that time. Not before my diagnosis, I mean. But honestly, it was the most easier thing that I had done. Like, I didn't want to see my hair like fall like that. So we called a barber and he saved my hair.
So one question I had, which is actually quite personal, is what did it feel like coming so close to death? And for those who have not had any experience coming close to it at all, it must have been quite scary, especially when you were that young, to even think about it at that point.
I never thought about death at that point. Like, I think I never thought about it. Maybe that's a reason that I think that's a reason that I got cured, because I never thought I'm gonna die for it. But now, I think that this was a reason. Also, another reason was the age that I was in. Like, I was just 13 and 14 years old. So if I had now, I was 21. So I know what the condition is, what the
Probabilities.
yes, the probabilities, and all the things that I'm gonna have in the future, maybe. So maybe I thought about death more, but when I was 14, I wasn't thinking about it. Yeah.
Now that you're a medical student, you understand about the condition more. Do you feel more scared? Like, I mean, for example, back then you said that you don't think about death so much, probably because you didn't know how serious it was. Or did you know how serious it was?
I knew how serious it was, but maybe I wasn't so mature to think about death and all this stuff. Probably my parents were like more think about this stuff. Like, my mother, she's still saying that I never like get over it. Still now, she's always afraid. Like, when I'm coughing,
Yeah.
she's always afraid, because the first symptom that I had was cough, just a cough, dry cough. So she's still afraid.
How did the symptoms go?
So, like, let's say it was December,
Yeah.
and I started to have a cough, dry cough, and at this time I was playing volleyball, and until January, like 15th of January, the cough was so strong, so I couldn't sleep. And one day I said to my mother, like, Mama, I can't sleep, like, I can't. So we went to a special doctor for kids. And he said to us that I had atypical pneumonia, and he gave me medicine. But I was getting worse, of course. And then we went to a family doctor, and he said to my mom, go to have a CT on her to see what is happening, because also my blood test was not good. And the CT was very bad. And I went straight to the hospital. It was the day that I told you that go to have a shower, and we are going to the hospital. So we came to the hospital. I went to Hippocratio, and I stayed there for 8 months. I had a biopsy in Theagenio. It's a hospital in the center also. And then I was in Hippocratio in the second floor for 8 months. The 2 months I was not going out of the hospital because I had a very, very difficult time there. I couldn't eat. I had stomatitis in all of my mouth, everywhere on the mouth and the lips. And After it, like I got better, and I went out. But I went back to school. Let's say I finished my therapies at July, and I went back to school on September. But I got my exams in June to pass the class because I didn't want to lose. I was studying during
Wow.
the hospital. It sounds weird, I know,
No,
but
we have no excuses when you're saying this kind
but
of stuff.
no,
We have no excuses.
I'm using these excuses now too. Don't worry. But like, I had so much free time. I didn't know what to do. Like I was just watching TV, like all the soap operas that they
Were
were
you in
playing.
pain?
So yes. Huh?
Were you in pain?
If I was in pain,
Yeah, like,
I was in so much pain. Like this. Like I was remembering myself. The most hard thing was the stomatitis. Like I had wounds in all over the throat, and like I was spitting my saliva all the time. I couldn't like put it inside. It was difficult, and that was the hardest thing. I remember that I was saying to my mother because of the chemotherapy, I couldn't walk a lot. I was saying to my mother, Mama, when I'm gonna run, like when I'm gonna go for playing volleyball, and she was saying to me, soon. You know, parents they are like very supportive for their kids, and when you are in these departments of the hospitals, you are seeing like kids like 5 years old or maybe smaller to like taking blood and do bicycle into the hospital. And it's something very powerful to see, you know.
I wanted to ask, you said that you went to Hippocratia for, was it the diagnosis, the full diagnosis they made it there?
The full diagnosis was from Theagenio because they had the biopsy. Like, you know, it's in the pits that like they had the papers, the CT, the blood test, me, the patient, so they could see what I'm gonna have, and they were missing the biopsy. So I went to Theagenio for the biopsy to have the diagnosis. Like it's a whole set, let's say.
How do you feel going back to these hospitals? I mean, now that you are a medical student, you go back with a different light. How does that make you feel?
I choose Hippocratia for a reason. Like I wanted to be there, like in honor for myself, let's say, and the doctors that they cured me. And before 1 week, I saw my doctor, Miss Papakonstantinou, and I was so happy that I saw her. And I was like with the coat, the white coat, and I was on Hippocratia, and I said, Kyria Papakonstantinou, and she saw me, wow, Georgia, you are here. She remembers? Yes, of course, she remembered me. And we spoke about stuff, medicine, and she was so happy to see me there in this position, like after like almost 10 years, she saw me like healthy, completely healthy, and like taking her path, let's say. So I think it's a very nice feeling for her too, and for me too, but for her too.
yeah, that must be a very nice moment, to
It
be
sounds
honest.
like something you can only write about, something that seems quite, how do I say? Poetic.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it is.
Does the memory of, you know, this event help you to go through difficult time in any way?
Yes, it does. It definitely does. For example, one thing that it helped me a lot is like to pick people in my life. When you're 13, it's okay. Like I had friends at this point, but a lot of the friends they vanished. But like I went back to school and I had the friends again, but some of them I didn't want to have company with them because they didn't even send a message to me to see how I am, etc., etc. Now, I just get over them, let's say. But now I'm seeing that they were just kids and they didn't know how to react
Yeah.
in this circumstance. Like even me now, if I learn something from a friend, I'm gonna be very careful from what I'm gonna say. But I had the experience, so I know that my words will be not better, but they're gonna have a point, let's say. So yes, I think that picking out the people in my life helped me a lot, this experience, and also facing the problems, not facing, but let's say ignoring the small problems in the life and trying to not being pessimistic about things and just be positive.
You basically answered our next question, which was going to be, how are you able to distinguish between the things in life that actually matter as opposed to things that...
Sometimes you forgot things. It's logical. For example, let's say about relationships that I'm going out with someone and I am getting hurt and I'm saying, "Oh, Georgia, blah blah blah." Heartbroken, etc.
I mean, you saw enough soap operas when you were in the...
But then I'm saying, oh, I don't care. Like, there are more oranges in the tree, so you know.
Yeah.
So yes, I think you understand where is the problem, what is not such a big problem. So you just moving on.
The next question I have for you is one that interests me quite in particular. Personally, growing up, I was quite overweight when I was a young kid, and I was labeled as the fat kid of the class. Do you ever feel that when people meet you or know about your story, that they label you as the girl who had cancer?
I really like this question. I think I never understand this. Like, I never heard from someone, "Oh, this is Georgia, that she is having cancer." Or even if I am thinking about it now, even if I heard something like that, cancer for me is like let's say my power. It's something that I'm very, very proud of myself. It's something that I'm not hiding, and it's something that I'm saying out of loud, because we have to speak about these things, we have to speak about these experiences. So if someone said me, Georgia, you had cancer, I never gonna think about it with a bad way. But I'm seeing the point that the kids, they are not seeing it with that way.
Yes.
Like, I have heard a lot of stories, and the people, it's not quite, let's say, kind. Like, even when I had cancer, I was bald, and I was going out. I was wearing a wig.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because I was living in a suburb, so everyone was everyone knew each other.
Yeah.
So in the summer I was going out with a wig, and then in September I went the first day with a wig, and the second day of the school I just put the wig out in the home, going out in the class.
It's very brave.
With
Quite brave.
I had hair, but like
Not as much.
Yeah.
like this high, like yes. So I'm sure I got criticized by it, because everyone knew that I had cancer. It was everyone was knowing in the community, But I wasn't, I couldn't care, like.
It strikes me that at such a young age you decided to embrace it rather
Yeah.
than fight it.
I don't know, honestly, until now, I don't know what helped me to do that. It's probably like an internal power, but it's quite strange. Also, like, because all my life I was overweight, and I'm overweight now too. I don't know, but I don't have, for example, self-confidence issues. I could have, because bullying is everywhere, but maybe my character is not accepting it. Maybe it's something that helped, like the way I was raised up, and also the way I saw, and also in these departments of the hospitals, there are psychologists that they speak with the kids. So yeah, it's something quite impressive for Greece.
Yeah.
And it was before 10 years, so it wasn't that famous. So yes,
Yeah.
it was something very impressive.
Why did you decide to, get into medicine in the first place?
I wanted to be a doctor all my life. Like,
Was it ever because of the
yes,
cancer?
I wanted to be a doctor all my life, but the point, like, even on my life that I went into the hospital, it like pushed me, let's say, and I wanted to be a doctor more. So yes, but maybe, I don't know, if I haven't had cancer, I couldn't get into medicine. So in the Greek law, there is a law, yes, which says that the people that they had serious illnesses, they could enter into universities only with the grade of the high school, without giving the Panhellenias exams.
Yeah.
There is a very long catalogue of diseases that you could have to enter like that. So the only thing that you have to do is getting 20 to 20 into the high school diploma. I got 20 to 20 there, and I get into medicine. It was a challenge for me because I didn't get into medicine with the typical way. So it was a challenge to see if I'm gonna pass the exams, be on the same level as my colleagues, not colleagues,
Friends.
classmates.
Yeah.
Yes. And but I'm very proud of myself in this point, because like I'm on a good way. I'm on the 5th year. So.
You
Definitely
should be.
should be.
Yeah, you should be. You have all the rights to be. Out of curiosity, have you decided what major would you be? Is it going to be oncology?
I think no. I know it sounds strange. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure 100% yet. Now on my mind there are two specialties. The first one is dermatology, and the second one is plastic surgery. I'm mostly between two of them, but even if I'm gonna be dermatology or plastic surgeon, I'm gonna see oncology for sure.
Yes, for sure.
But if I'm gonna be specific, like on the on the kids that they had cancer, I'm not sure yet. Soon I'm gonna visit Hippocrates for this reason in the 2nd floor, to like see how it is from the medical way, and I'm gonna decide there, I think. And also I'm planning to go for Erasmus. I hope to.
Where are you thinking?
I'm thinking of going to Istanbul.
Ah, okay. Wait, Erasmus isn't that Erasmus Plus, or is it just
Erasmus studies.
I didn't know that Turkey was
Yes, it is. It is. And I know that Turkey, there is a lot of medical tourism. So mostly for plastic surgeries because it's cheaper. So I'm gonna go there and see if I'm gonna do plastic surgery or dermatology. So I think I'm gonna decide there between them two.
You can let us know.
Yeah, of course.
As we're reaching the end of the podcast, I'd like us to leave a little message for the viewers who've watched until the end. Is there something you would like to share with those who are going through difficult times, or perhaps maybe even exactly the same events that you went through?
I think the most important thing after the drugs is the way that you see your experience, is the way that you support yourself, and if you see all of these all of this experience as an adventure, I think you have all the good vibes with you. So it's a very, very important way to beat cancer for me. So good vibes and positivity, I think.
Yeah, that's a very powerful message, actually. I think that's really important.
Thank you very much for joining. And yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm glad for the invitation, and I hope you guys to enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you.
We're done.
Perfect.
That was it.